Right.
You were speaking about something earlier about the times when it was much simpler. Like my grandmother's house, it still stands in Barrett Station, Texas. 1957, she bought that house for $500. She and my grandfather, $500.
Yeah.
She raised, and it's not big. My office.
Where is it? You said
it's in Barrett Station, Texas. It's a small black community going. It's going towards Louisiana. So, for instance,
like toward Beaumont. Yeah.
Between Baytown, but on the
other side. Okay.
So she raised 12 sons and daughters in there, including their friends, and it was a much simpler time. You know, they were trying to get by, trying to make it.
Yeah.
But now we're trying to do something that's extraordinary without any extraordinary effort. Meaning, I need this now because I see that it can be done now. But now it's so far away because we don't put in the work. That means on ourselves. Whatever we want, I honestly think we can get. But if we don't work on ourselves, it's hard to get.
So that's a very so I'm with you on that, by the way. But that's not a popular way of thinking right now at all. No. And people aren't being encouraged to think that way by like the powers that be.
Right.
There's more and more. It seems to me, and this comes back to another question I wanted to ask you, which is, it seems to me like we're being encouraged, like society is being encouraged to actually not think about individual responsibility and to think about, you know, this whole concept of, and you may have a different take on this, but like this concept of equal outcomes to me says that somebody needs to turn the dials
for it to be equality
for people to, you know, not the equal opportunity, but the equal outcomes means somebody, government typically, needs to come in, or a corporation needs to come in and turn the dials to cause things to turn out, you know, equally well for everyone.
Yeah.
And like, while I don't want to see anybody, you know, not have a better life or not have some benefit or whatever it is. At the same time, that seems to steer us away from this idea of what you just said, which is, you said you believe that we could do it.
So I probably have a slightly different take. I'll say this.
Because that's something I'm really trying to wrap my head around, but it seems to steer us in the wrong direction.
It's a tough situation,
right.
And it's because, again, we all see things differently because of whatever culture, race, so-called race. So let me say this: race, in my opinion, it's a social construct.
Yeah,
it is. We're different skin tones. You know, I'm considered black. You're considered whatever you could.
I think I'm a white guy.
White. You consider white.
My barber used to call me a white guy.
so you consider white. Yeah. So whomever, you know, so this other person, maybe whatever, you know, so-called race. So race is a social construct, in my opinion. So we have to look historically. We had to assimilate to, you know, white people, asserting their whatever authority. It was pseudo authority at the time, but you know, they willed their authority. It made it work. So we've all had to assimilate to that, and we have. So now I'm black and you're white, as opposed to human beings being on an equal footing.
Yeah.
So my father's father, his father, you know, he couldn't read or write because he wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
As far as voting, even when they were allowed to vote, black people were allowed to vote, they had poll tax. So I understand what you're saying, like equal footing, and I do believe that if you put your mind to it, you can do it. But we talk about systematic injustice. In my opinion, there is, because, you know, a certain nationality or ethnicity or race started right here, and so my grandparents, great-grandparents started right here, and it's tough because
so historically you're playing catch up.
It's tough because it's one element, there's another element, and then we're trudging, and it's not like this element staying here. We're all trudging this way, but as we move up, then this element moves up, and the system, sometimes it's hard to break a system. You know, you can program a system, you can program it, but to actually crack the code, It's tough.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. You know, it's tough to try and put everything and make everyone.
Well, I guess the question becomes, so the historical reality is exactly what you just described. By the way, I want to make a little comment on that race thing. If it's funny that, because exactly what you said is, if you peel back and you look at what anthropologists and sociologists define as race, they actually can't agree.
Of course not.
There is no actual definition of
leave it up to us humans
race
to follow it up.
Well, yeah. So we're arguing about something that doesn't even have a clearly acknowledged definition beyond human race, right? So, but the fact remains, whatever you call it, like the syntax is not important.
Right.
The fact is that historically, what you just described is true, right? So you wind the clock back 100 years or even less. I mean, certainly more, but even less.
Right.
And you go, okay, well, this segment of society has advantages over this segment. And you go, and today, I think in some people's head, okay, yeah, but that's kind of all leveled out over time. And then other people go, well, not really, but I don't hear a lot of examples. So I hear a lot of like arguments in the abstract, but like, but like what's like in your head, like what's an example of you go, because another thing that comes up on this, I'm going to say like a whole bunch of different things. I'm going to let you talk. So another thing that comes up a lot is the system, right? Is the system really rigged against certain people, or is everybody ultimately a product of their environment? Like you said, some of these kids come out, they're not going back to a good place.
No.
So how in the hell are they going to do anything good?
They don't have a chance.
So, you know, kind of like netting all that out, are we at a point where, look, everybody's got the same opportunity, you make up your mind, you get it done, it doesn't matter who you are, or are we still with some of those imbalances?
That's a good question. So we can talk about this for 3 hours, but the thing is, it's, you know, you said it earlier.
We'll do part two.
we have to peel it back. We have to peel it back. So the systems don't run themselves. So in the beginning, you know, you said go back 100 years. Just go back 100 years. My great-great-great-grandfather could never be in charge of a system. So who's in charge of the system?
Yeah.
It's probably your ancestors. Probably.
Well, they were Irish and Italian, so probably not.
Well, probably not. But whomever, whatever.
Yeah, but I get your point.
Yeah, whatever. I'm speaking just on, you know, superficial things, skin tone. So it's tough to break. Again, we spoke about breaking the code of the system. So I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm saying that there are systems in place where it's tough for not just my nationality or ethnicity. It could be for whomever.
But so like what, for example? Do you like?
So for we was talking about jobs. Today. You're talking about who you know, how you know. Again, you're even though you're Irish American, in 1965, your people probably could vote. The Voting Rights Act just happened in 1965. It's 2023.
Yeah,
that's not too long ago.
Yeah, that's the year before I was born.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's not too long ago.
And as we've already established, Trevor, I'm not that old.
So again, I don't want to make this a race versus race thing. I'm saying
no. This is an interesting thing, I think, to kind of dig into in a way that isn't just people yelling at each other.
Well, it's important that we have conversations, because that's how we get lost.